As we embark on this exploration, let's first set the stage. The issue of single motherhood, particularly among Black Americans, is a pressing concern. According to a report by Kids Count Data Center, nearly 70% of Black children are born to single mothers, a stark contrast to other ethnic groups in America. Now, you might be wondering, why is this? To understand the roots of the problem, one must delve into the role of racism and economics. Systemic racism has historically limited opportunities for Black Americans in terms of housing, education, and employment. This has created a cycle of disadvantage that perpetuates socio-economic disparities. Economic constraints further exacerbate the issue, as single mothers often face financial struggles given the high costs of childcare and housing, coupled with typically lower incomes. This trend of single motherhood is not merely a statistic, it has real-world implications, often leading to a cycle of poverty, lack of resources, and limited opportunities for the children involved. But why is this issue so prevalent specifically among Black Americans? The answer lies in the complex interplay of historical injustices, socioeconomic factors, and systemic issues that disproportionately affect this community. Before we delve into solutions, it's essential to understand the problem at its core. How does one become a single mother? The path is often not chosen, but rather imposed by a series of unfortunate circumstances. While we may be tempted to attribute this solely to unplanned pregnancies, it's important to debunk the myth that surrounds this concept. Studies repeatedly show that most teen mothers were fully determined to have a child. However, some may harbor regrets later on. Now, let's explore these reasons for regret. Sometimes the fathers are unable or unwilling to commit, leaving the mother to shoulder the responsibility alone. This could stem from personal circumstances or societal pressures, including the stigma attached to young fatherhood or the dearth of financial stability to support a family. In addition, it's vital to consider the environment in which these individuals are raised. The lack of and the constant changes in one's environment often lead to a feeling of uncertainty about the future. This lack of future prospects can serve to exacerbate the fear of commitment and responsibility, causing males to eschew the children they fathered. Furthermore, the disintegration of relationships can lead to single motherhood, often a result of domestic violence, substance abuse, or infidelity. Additionally, issues like mass incarceration disproportionately affect Black men, leaving their partners to raise children on their own. Why do some men avoid their responsibilities as fathers? The reasons are multifaceted. Some are rooted in personal factors like immaturity or fear of commitment, while others are systemic, such as the lack of job opportunities leading to financial insecurity, making the prospect of raising a family daunting. Understanding these factors is crucial in finding effective solutions. Unfortunately, these societal tendencies are often used to reinforce long-held racist views that both Black males and Black females are irresponsible. This narrative only widens the divide and hinders the progress towards a more inclusive society. We aim to debunk the myth that being born to a single mother leads to crime, and that the lack of a father figure is a major issue. This narrative, often propagated by conservative views, is not only flawed, but also detrimental to the progress of society as a whole. The supposed correlation between single motherhood and crime rates is not as straightforward as it seems. In fact, when factors such as poverty, education, and employment opportunities are taken into account, the connection weakens. Crime is a complex phenomenon influenced by a myriad of socioeconomic factors, and it's overly simplistic, not to mention unfair, to blame single mothers for this. It's also crucial to challenge the notion that the lack of a father figure is a major issue. This perspective not only undervalues the role of mothers, but also overlooks the significant contributions made by other family members, community members, and role models. The emphasis on the lack of a father figure often stems from traditional gender norms, which are increasingly being challenged by progressive views. Of blaming single mothers, we should focus on addressing systemic issues such as poverty, lack of education, and limited job opportunities, which are far more likely to contribute to crime. It's time to shift the narrative and focus on real issues. While single motherhood is not a desirable outcome in most cases, demonizing it serves no benefit, a sentiment echoed by both sides of the political spectrum. Embracing a more understanding viewpoint is a part of the solution rather than perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Let's debunk the myth of unplanned pregnancies and explore the natural urge of teenage girls to reproduce. It's a controversial topic, but one that needs to be addressed. Often society views teenage girls' reproductive desires as a problem that needs to be managed, rather than a natural part of human development. This leads to the myth of unplanned pregnancies, a term that often serves to promote a form of education, telling them not to have children. This narrative is especially harmful when applied to black teenagers, as it's often used to propagate the false narrative that black girls and boys are incapable of understanding common knowledge that sex leads to pregnancy. Consequently, this not only infantilizes them, but also places undue blame on them for societal issues. Moreover, the societal pressure to abstain from sex to avoid tainting society with their unwanted offspring is a form of structural racism that needs to be challenged. It's time to question these narratives and promote a more understanding and supportive approach. The roots of these damaging perspectives can be traced back to America's past, where outright racist laws were commonplace. These laws and their associated mentalities continue to shape much of society's narratives, often in subconscious and subtle ways. A prime example is the persistent marginalization and mistreatment of black teenage girls and boys in discussions concerning reproductive health, which perpetuates negative stereotypes and supports ongoing discrimination. Instead of denying their reproductive urges, we should focus on equipping them with the knowledge and tools they need to make informed decisions about their bodies and futures. Let's challenge the notion that teen parenthood happens because studying is not encouraged enough. This misconception is often rooted in a narrow definition of success that prioritizes career and education as the paths for our youth. We must consider the disparity this creates, particularly for young black individuals who may not fit into this narrow framework. We must ask ourselves, are we doing to encourage other avenues of success? Or are we simply reinforcing a one-track mind that leaves no room for deviation? It's important to understand that success is not a one-size-fits-all concept, especially for black youth who are often forced into boxes that don't align with their personal aspirations or circumstances. Instead of pushing them towards a singular path, should be promoting diverse opportunities that allow them to explore their individual strengths and interests. This could mean vocational training, entrepreneurship, or even support for young parents. Our approach needs be rethought, acknowledging that one size does not fit all when it comes to youth development and success. The key to addressing the epidemic of single motherhood may lie within an unexpected solution: teenage marriage. A daring proposition indeed, and one that is worth exploring with conviction. While the idea of teen marriage may seem controversial today, it's important to remember that this is a relatively recent perspective in the grand scheme of human history. It is potentially a viable solution to this issue, and it's an age-old concept that has been practiced for centuries in diverse cultures around the globe. Interestingly, even in the civilized West, it's a fact often overshadowed that teen marriage was a common practice in certain parts of the United States well into the 1960s. Despite contradicting contemporary societal norms, teen marriage carries significant merits that deserve our attention. It's time we reshaped our understanding and recall that mainstream culture often has a habit of making us forget the practices of the past. Firstly, teen marriage could provide a stable family structure from a young age. A two-parent household can offer emotional support, shared responsibilities, and financial stability, all of which are crucial for raising a child. Teenage marriages could lead to stronger community ties. As families form at an earlier age, communities may become more interconnected, nurturing a supportive network for the young parents and their children. Furthermore, when such marriages occur between second, third, or even first cousins, the benefits can be even greater. This close kinship can lead to a more cohesive family unit, shared values and traditions. It encourages a deeper understanding of each other's backgrounds and experiences. This dynamic can create a more robust, harmonious family structure, further stabilizing the community. The pooling of resources and support, which naturally occurs in such close-knit relationships, can be particularly beneficial for young parents and their children, providing them with an additional safety net. Such familial closeness in teenage marriages can therefore amplify family stability and community cohesion. Yet, a question lingers in the air: Why hasn't this solution been proposed more often, especially by those who claim to care about poor young black people? Could it be that there's a hidden agenda among those who have the power to implement such solutions but choose not to? Or could it be a result of societal norms and economic factors that oppose teen marriage? Society has a conventional belief that adolescence should be a time for education and personal growth, not marriage. There's a fear that marrying at a young age could lead to missed opportunities, both educational and career-wise. Economic factors also come into play, as young people typically haven't established a strong financial base and might struggle with the financial responsibilities that come with marriage, yet the real challenge lies in changing this mentality. We must start by shedding light on the potential benefits of teen marriage, such as emotional support and shared responsibilities. In addition, we need to dispel the myth that young marriage equals missed opportunities. The focus should be on creating a supportive environment where young married couples can still pursue their education and career goals. This can be achieved by providing access to affordable education and job opportunities, well as implementing policies that support young families. In conclusion, the topic of teen marriage warrants a thorough and open dialogue. It's time we thoughtfully consider all potential solutions, weighing their pros and cons. By doing so, we may discover innovative ways to improve the welfare of young black people and their communities. In the black community, the church is more than just a place for prayer. It's a vibrant cultural center, a crucial component of communal living, and a beacon of hope. The power of gospel music, impassioned sermons, and energetic congregations have a profound impact on the lives of its members, particularly the youth. Should the church support the idea of teen marriages, it may draw a broader youth audience into its enriching environment and provide them a supportive avenue to find life partners. The Bible, Christianity's guiding light, doesn't stipulate an ideal age for marriage, but emphasizes the sanctity and devotion of the marital union. The tradition of early marriages, widespread in black, notably in Africa, could be used to encourage mindful, consensual teen marriages, reinforced with the necessary support systems. The church can play a transformative role in addressing negative attitudes towards teen marriages. Through community discussions and sermons, the church can underscore the benefits of early marriages, like emotional companionship, shared responsibilities, and the formation of stable family units. Moreover, the church can offer counseling to young couples, steering them through the intricacies of early marriages. The church can collaborate with educational institutions and businesses, ensuring that young married couples continue to have access to academic and career opportunities. With scholarships, flexible job positions, and childcare services, the church can cultivate an environment where young couples can effectively balance their marital, educational, and career duties. The Black church, with its societal sway and broad reach, can advocate for the concept of teen marriages, contributing to the betterment of the Black community. It is, however, essential to take on this initiative with care and respect, always prioritizing the rights and well-being of the young people involved. Having discussed the role the Black church can play in supporting teen marriages, let's delve into the Christian perspective on teen parenthood and the concept of waiting for the right time to marry. Many Christians criticize teen parenthood as inherently immoral and harmful, citing the importance of a child growing up with two parents. But here lies a contradiction. By promoting an unnatural waiting period for marriage, presumably until one's 20s or 30s, we inadvertently contribute to the issue of single motherhood. The Christian faith, characterized by love, acceptance, and understanding, should instead be promoting early marriage as a viable solution. Let's now turn our attention to the legal aspect of under-18 marriages in the United States. The legal age of marriage varies significantly from state to state, with most states setting the minimum age at 18. However, exceptions exist, particularly with parental consent or judicial approval. The reasoning behind this is typically to protect young individuals from being forced into marriages before they are emotionally and financially ready to the responsibilities that come with it. Yet, this stance can be viewed as a double-edged sword. On one hand, it protects young individuals from potential exploitation. On the other hand, it inadvertently contributes to the issue of single motherhood, particularly in the Black community, by discouraging early marriage. There is a growing movement advocating for the relaxation of these laws, arguing that they should be more accommodating of cultural and individual differences. Critics argue that the law should not dictate when a person is ready to marry, especially when it could be a solution to the single motherhood crisis. While the legal landscape may seem daunting, it is not insurmountable. With concerted efforts and a shift in societal attitudes, change is possible. There's a growing movement advocating for a lower legal age for marriage. This movement argues that by reducing the legal age, we can provide a solution to the problem of single motherhood in the Black community. They believe the law should accommodate cultural and individual differences rather than impose a rigid age limit. Parallel to this, there are also initiatives aimed at increasing societal tolerance and support for young. These initiatives focus on providing emotional, financial, and educational support to young parents, helping them navigate the complex world of parenthood. They aim to break the stigma associated with young parenthood and promote the idea that age not necessarily equate to parental preparedness or capability. The potential impact of these on the Black community and the issue of single motherhood is significant. By promoting early, stable marriages young parents, we could see a decline in single motherhood rates and an improvement in the overall well-being of the community. In light of the ongoing debate over lowering the legal age for marriage, it's important to acknowledge that the struggles faced by young parents are not solely confined to those under the age of 18. Many of these problems, lack of financial stability, inexperience, and societal stigma, are also encountered by parents who are technically of legal age. This suggests that the age at which one becomes a parent is not the only factor contributing to these difficulties. However, the inconsistency in marriage laws between states often becomes a significant source of confusion. This legal discrepancy leads to moral and legal uncertainties, particularly for teenagers, who may struggle to understand the complex legal landscape. The varying legal nuances from one state to another create a gray area that often sees young individuals caught up in a whirlwind of legal and societal expectations. The focus, therefore, should be on standardizing marriage laws and providing comprehensive educational and support systems to assist all young people in understanding these laws, regardless of their age. Girls have a natural urge to have children. It's an integral part of their biological makeup, and to deny its existence is to deny a fundamental part of their being. Just as we are now increasingly allowing teens to choose their gender, a truly liberal society should let them marry and have children, should they wish to do so. It might not fit into the neatly organized plan of those who run our society. It might not be the society they envision, but that's exactly what liberty means. The right not to have your life decided and restricted by someone else's idea of what you should be. It's the freedom to choose your path, to make your own decisions, and to bear the consequences of those decisions, for better or worse. The natural urge of teens to reproduce and start families has been a part of human existence since the beginning of time. It's a primal instinct, and it's only in recent centuries that societal norms have shifted to discourage it. But what if we flipped the script? What if, instead, discouraging these young people from starting families, we provided them with the support they need to do so responsibly and successfully? Imagine a society where teenage marriage and parenthood are not stigmatized, but instead are understood and supported, where young parents have access to resources and education that help them raise their children in a stable environment, where teenage marriages are not a cause for exclusion, but a reason to rally around these young families and provide them with the support they need. They want to marry, they want to have kids, so why shouldn't we let them?